You have a Spanish, you have a Latin American accent in the way you speak English.
Really?
Because I expected that you will speak with me in this French, like when I go to Paris, but you're not speaking like that, you know? So
great. I'm glad. I'm sorry for my French people, but this is horrible.
yeah.
I know the ladies, they love it, but
Yeah.
for us, no.
Well, okay. So Greg, thank you for being with us all the way from Colombia. I think there's like 10 hours of difference between you and me, 10 hours, something like this, 7 hours, 8 hours.
7 hours.
Yeah. So Greg, what can you tell us about Cacao de Colombie, your initiative, your business? Go.
Hi, thanks to Fik. I'm very glad we can have this chat together. It's been a long time, right?
Yeah.
This adventure started like it's been now 4 years. I've been living in Colombia for 5 years.
Yeah.
Basically straight after the MBA, I got this feeling for entrepreneurship. Well, I didn't know back then that I will ended up in Colombia.
Nobody knew, man.
No, nobody knew.
Nobody knew. I was speaking to you during the class, and you know, like nothing in my head would have forecasted. Would you? If I had told you 5 years ago I would be in Bulgaria, you wouldn't believe me either. So
no, that's crazy. Yeah, that's why I love life.
Yeah,
full of surprises.
Absolutely.
So yeah, basically how it all started. When I first came here, I find out an agricultural sector very damaged. Basically, it's very far off what we can even imagine in Europe. The condition of living, the education, the health. You have like different sectors in Colombia where barely arrive, or the institutions are barely there. You don't have schools, hospitals, a huge lack of knowledge as well in practices. So basically, I find out an ecosystem that was very obsolete.
Okay.
Well, obviously, due to the fact of the war, I mean, over 50 years of war, basically explain it all.
Absolutely.
So I started to deep dive into this agricultural sector, and more specifically coffee and cocoa.
Okay.
So the coffee industry here is something that has been progressing over the years. So I couldn't see myself just entering the sector as a broker or as another seller. Let's put it that way. I wanted to really bring something in, my knowledge, my experience, and I see this opportunity with the cocoa sector. Basically, everything is to be built.
Okay.
There is no culture of cocoa here. It was very coffee and coca, unfortunately.
Yes.
So this is very new. And Colombia has a most higher number of species of cocoa after Brazil. So there is a huge variety and biodiversity that was very interesting.
Wow.
Furthermore, the mechanisms of the market, the access to market was very poor, barely none. So I say, okay, let's give it a shot. Let's do what I can. Let's see what I can do for those people. So I became basically, I believe, in that moment when I decided to do that, to build the first ethical, short, integrated filière channel of premium cocoa.
Okay.
I basically launched myself into something I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see the difficulties, but I could never imagine so many. So what happened then? I started to meet up with a lot of institutions, the private sector, lots of producers across the world country. So traveled a lot, spent time in Colombia. Each region is nearly functioning as a country. The food is different, the talking is different, the culture is different, the landscapes is different, the nature is different.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything. It's a country of crazy biodiversity, Colombia.
Yeah.
So I explored many options, and I came up with a program. That was my way to get in. I didn't. Yeah, basically, I look at the value chain,
Yep.
and I've seen all those small segments. So I had choice. I had to choose between becoming purely a broker, selling and buying, or maybe exporter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
again, I was not adding any value. Could have been producing myself, buying some lands and start
also, yeah.
producing.
So
But
that they
again,
can, yeah.
I mean, it's very segmented, and in each segment you have like a monopoly, which make it harder. So
Yeah.
what I decided was maybe crazier, but to attack it and address it from an holistic perspective. So to build a program that will tackle each of the issues that I've been analyzing and seeing all across the value chain. And that was me entry point. Coming up with a program with 3 different pillars: social, economical, and environmental.
Okay.
So I got the chance after 2 years of developing, I mean, formulating, designing, and then developing this program. I had the chance to be selected last year at the Worldwide Agroforestry Congress.
Super, congrats.
Yeah, it was very nice. I mean, it's basically a validation of the peers, right?
Absolutely.
Can I just make a second, just a quick pause? I'd like to introduce the love of my life, because it's about my life, right? And my wife and my baby are the two, greatest person I have now next to me in my life, and they help me out a lot in my quest of
bring her in.
channel. So let me just very quickly, okay?
Yeah, no worries, of course.
And we've known each other for a while, so I believe it's important.
Buenos días.
So this is, yeah, Tufik habla español también.
Sí, yo hablo
This
español.
is my wife, Monica.
Monica.
And my little girl.
Oh, and your little girl.
Yeah, the picture will be complete. Yeah.
The picture will be very complete. Oh, buenos días. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Mon petit cœur, ça c'est Tufik, un ami de papa.
Comment tu t'appelles?
Une super série de podcasts sur la vie des entrepreneurs dans tout son entourage, dans le monde entier, mon petit cœur.
Yeah.
Si. Voilà. Donc, Tufik.
Eh ben, tu vas être fameuse. Tu vas être fameuse.
Voilà.
Tu vas être sur le podcast. On va te voir sur YouTube.
Voilà. This is a new generation.
Yeah. It's a new generation. That's a lovely family you have.
Thanks. Sorry about that, but
no, man. It
was about
on the contrary. Bye, Monica. Bye. Nice to meet you.
I thought it was important as well to give some context, because we're going to go into more details about what is the life of entrepreneurship and
of course
the challenges. But it's important to get some people around.
It's super important. By the way, what can you tell people that are in entrepreneurship and have families? Because obviously, when you're not alone in the adventure, you have an approach that is a little bit different regarding decisions, right? Like you don't make decisions in the same way. So what changed in your life regarding that? What can you tell entrepreneurs about this?
You know what? I'm glad you asked that question. It's maybe more important than my program or my channel of Cocoa and those things I want to achieve. Basically, during the COVID, as many, I had to the fashion word now is reinvent yourself.
Yes.
Reinvent yourself.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm not sure you can reinvent yourself as such, but what you can do is understand what is important in your life.
Absolutely.
Fully. And family, in my case, I don't have the chance to have a very big family. Most of them are gone. So what I did, it was very hard. I must say, I had to leave my business on the side for a while, but really leave it. Like, I'm not gonna go anywhere. I can't find anywhere to talk. I can't find any person to talk to. Everyone is under pressure, with a very scared as well. So when people are scared, the brain doesn't really function well. This state of surviving. So what I did is I truly inside had to accept that I'm not going to grow anything or do anything for a few months. So I basically switched to my family, and I found I believe COVID make me like a real dad, understanding the challenges of educating a child, being with her every day, looking at her developing itself every day, understanding as well the difference between the adult world and the child world. I mean, there is a lot of misunderstanding all the time.
Yeah. Of course, it
I
sets
mean,
the whole
one
crisis sets
believes
the
that the
priority.
child is understanding
Emotional.
yeah,
I can
but
feel that you're a bit emotional when you speak about your
it's
family. So that's
it's
that's
even
super
hard
sweet.
to yeah, the words, as you can see as well, the words don't come out very easily because it's so much and so much emotion. But
Absolutely.
I'm truly glad. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's just great what happened. And the great bonus out of that is when you come out of this period, you basically are feeling better, thinking straight, thinking better. So it's like it was a shot of like a potion, right?
Yeah.
Of innovation,
Yeah, I
creation.
think all of us
Um,
did this. I think all of us did this in at some extent. All of us, like, it just, the crisis forced us to set our priorities and understand what is important. Like, we used to go out a lot, spend money on meaningless things, buy things, pile up clothes, buy, like, consumerism at its best, you know. And then COVID came in and it's like, slow down. And then you realize 6 months later, and we're still in it. And then you realize 6 months later, 7 months later, 9 months later, that actually it wasn't like, it was difficult times economically, but it was certainly an opportunity to reset your priorities and reset what's important to you, I think. So, and and when you're an entrepreneur, it's very important to have that drive, that, like, that
I
thing that
believe,
will make you wake up even if you don't want to wake up, you know. Like, you're gonna
yeah. I
wake
mean,
up, you're gonna wake
like
up some days, yeah, you're gonna wake up some days and you're like, okay, today I'm not feeling like I want to work,
old and
you know. But when you have a drive
old
behind
and
you, when you
ugly.
have somebody, you know, like, you're like, no, 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 get up, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, just maybe to say it uh, very quickly, I believe it's a blessing. Maybe some people is going to be um, having a hard time to understand this blessing because
Yeah,
some people are died and
yeah,
some people are very, you know, have suffered from that virus.
yeah,
But if you wasn't it that case and you took that time for the better and
yeah,
for
absolutely,
and not um, being scary of what could happen next, then I believe this will make you stronger, but truly for
absolutely,
life.
absolutely.
It was like a once in history on of the mankind. So I believe that was the only way. Spirituality helps me a lot. I start doing yoga and meditation,
Nice,
and share times with the people you love. That
nice,
give you strength.
nice,
So that
nice.
for me was really a blessing. Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
let's touch a little bit about the business itself. So how did, because you gave me a good opportunity for switching to the COVID side of the business. So what were the main challenges that, I assume, supply chain, production, what were the main challenges that your ecosystem, let's say, because of course you're not alone
yeah,
in
yeah,
this,
of course.
but the whole ecosystem, what were the main challenges for you guys in agriculture?
Just to finish up on the point of the program,
Mm.
the good things of this program is during COVID, I could as well keep on doing work on that
Yes,
program,
yes,
consolidating some part of the activities we were designing for the field, the action we have in mind to develop with entities here in Colombia and abroad. So I could spend time as well on that, let's say, on this reflection,
absolutely.
and um, concretely, I believe for the cocoa sector and more generally, or for the whole raw materials, exported, imported, was terrible. It was very hard. Basically, everyone went on the wait and see mode.
Okay.
So you couldn't move anything. People couldn't really sometimes reach out to their farms.
Oh,
as
wow.
well.
Okay.
So it depends. I mean, I've seen sector doing very well because at the same time, there's been a rise in consumption of cocoa and coffee. Because people at home, so they have more time. So basically, you could have on one hand up to 12% increase in sales for coffee and cocoa, for let's say chocolate. And on the other end, a lot of problems with logistics at exporting and importing. But the big players of the industry, which I know a few now, they basically kept on with their inventory. So no sales till they can see an end to it. Obviously, today we know that there is still no end to it. So we're still in the same situation to comment on the present. So my my challenge now is going to be to understand how the consumer is going to act, which segment is going to go for. Really give away on some segments for others. Really just keep on buying the same brands because he knows that brand, so it's going to be harder to introduce a new brand now because there is no recognition yet. So and you know that it's a long-term communication plan and campaign. So I'm trying to figure out a few strategies to be honest for 2021 and 22. So basically, anyway, I'm going to be doing some stuff that I hadn't even imagined 6 months or a year ago. I'm going to be doing probably 3 or 4 line of business to diversify. Could be offline, online at the same time. So it's great. Again, as you say, you have two ways, two attitudes to have: to embrace the change and be creative even more, or you can die. So
what other choice? You're gonna open your eyes tomorrow morning and you're gonna say, okay, what other choice do I have? I opened my eyes, you know, like I opened my eyes this morning. So what other choice do I have? Right.
Before the interview with you, my wife yesterday night, just to give me the kick, right? She said, "Oh, look at the astral. They say, or you choose to grow or you die."
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's
pretty much it.
Exactly. Like this is I think what you're touching on is super important and gives some perspective because the way in some countries the virus is treated is very different from other countries, and I can imagine, for example, that the priorities for people that you work with in Colombia are way different than the priorities for people that are downtown Paris or downtown London, for example, in terms of life and difficulty of life, and like what are like your like in France you cannot go to the cinema, but in Colombia maybe you can't eat, right? So that like just to put it in a caricatural, I'm oversimplifying, of course, but like let's just put the perspectives on this. So I think
if I can just add something to your point, because a few people know, I believe, Colombia, the population is around the 50 million marks. You can say that 38 million out of those 48 live under poverty.
Wow.
So it's and live most of them on the daily work.
Yes,
so,
daily day.
They don't go out. Exactly. So if they don't go out to sell some stuff or their food or their accessories or the clothes, whatever they sell.
Absolutely. So what's the social impact of your endeavor? Because if I have to oversimplify again and use something, maybe people will slam me after this in the comment section, but when you say Colombia to the average person, in his head it's coffee and Hollywood, basically. Like he knows about Colombian coffee and he knows about what Hollywood says about Colombia. So all the things around the all the things that you see on TV, the drugs, etc., the cocaine, the narcos, da 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 da. But how did your program, for example, lift? Are there similar programs that are coming in? How do you see the ecosystem evolving into something else like cocoa? Nobody really pictures Colombia as a cacao country, right? They picture it more as a coffee or something else. So
yeah, let's say it, even coca. That's most unfortunately people still look. I'm just giving you an example very quickly for you to understand how deep it is. We went once. I had the chance to bring my wife over into to France, right?
Yeah.
And we were having a nice dinner at a nice terrace in Provence, and the the waitress. I don't know. She probably heard a few words because I talk always with my wife in Colombian.
Yeah, in Spanish. Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, you're from Colombia," and so she said, "Yes." Oh, we are thinking of going over there with my boyfriend. It's been a while. We've dreamed about it. We absolutely want to see the hacienda of Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, there you go.
And my wife, I have no shame to say, she had some tears here.
Yeah.
And most of Colombians, I mean, react the same. I mean, this is as if in France everyone was remembering, or in Germany the emblem person was Hitler.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone wanted to see Hitler and all this stuff and his house, and so it's completely crazy. When you live here, you understand Colombia is, of course, this is a huge part of the culture here, and that this is a fact. And I will develop later on some stuff, because between cocoa and coca, I mean, it's very close. But the idea remains after 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And people here really want this to change. So my action, I hope, I mean, very humbly and at me level, right? That's a way as well to communicate about Colombia, its people, its landscape, its culture, its product, and very new and another way, and open up the eyes of the people, saying that Colombia is much more, and always been much more, always was.
Absolutely.
For example, it's the third producer of third worldwide producer of coffee. First in flowers. We've got like 50% of the paramount of the world here in Colombia. The first country of biodiversity. The first for sorry, birds.
Yeah.
There is a huge ecosystem
variety of species,
of the coast. But anyway, a lot of things. But coca remains a very deep problem here. You have to know that where I work, there is always coca next to it most of the time. So it's complicated.
It's very complicated,
socially,
I can imagine.
For my security, sometimes you have to really much coordinate everything and get some.
Make sure that your trucks are not leaving in the same time. Make sure that you're not there at the same time.
Or to be with locals. Let's say first of all, it's to be with locals that open up the way for you and introduce you to the sector and the people. So interesting as well. But again, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy now, but I can't see that. What I can see is all the benefits.
Of course,
we can draw through this program, and I see people that really want it. I mean, they really want to get out of this condition.
Yes, if somebody is working in the plantation, if somebody working in a plantation of coca, then you're securing them a job in cacao somewhere else with some different perspectives, and people. I think what most of the world doesn't realize is that the ecosystem and the economy that is behind it is mostly driven out of poverty and out of lack of choice. It's like, what other choice do I have? I have to live, right? And so that's why I work in those fields. If there was other choices, people would work differently and work with different places. And I think that's where sometimes Western societies are very judgmental on those things. What's next? What would be next in your projects for next
Before I
year?
go there, I just end up with this phrase: no one wants to grow coca. People need to know today. People don't choose.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's a lack of choice. Exactly.
Exactly. So you're right.
Exactly.
Next, what will be next? Next, a lot of things, very amazing things, I believe, or I hope.
Yeah.
First of all, it's going to be I'm going to try to enter the chocolate sector
Nice.
now.
Nice.
Why? Because I believe that could be something that could be managed at the same time with the cocoa business and line of business we have. And most of all, I'm going to learn again much more about the consumer. And I'm really into the ethical and responsible act of purchase.
Okay.
I even created an association with some chef chocolate makers in France.
Okay.
To push or let's say to educate.
So a bioethical chocolate.
Yeah, but more than that, in the phrase buying power, everyone is buying, but the power of buying is not used. What I mean by that is we have the power by buying to change the world, because you can condemn one organization and you can choose to defend and promote another one only by buying.
No, but what I meant is you want to tackle the ethics of mass production and basically less production but better production. So a bio product that is ethically, that respects the human rights when in your fields, that provides families with that is healthy, that doesn't have right. Am I correct in this?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're spot on. I mean, you even helped me to clarify my ideas. I have to say, and I have apologized to the audience and to you. I haven't spoken in English for the last.
But you know what?
years.
Let me tell you something.
You know what?
Wait, let me tell you something. There's no need to apologize. You have a Latin American accent in the way you speak English.
Really?
Because I expected that you will speak with me in this French, like when I go to Paris, but you're not speaking like that, so.
Great. I'm glad. I'm sorry for my French people, but this is horrible.
Yeah.
I know the ladies, they love it, but for us, no.
No. So I completely, no need to apologize at all. It's a pleasure to hear from you. Okay, so chocolate.
So yeah. Basically, you are on exactly what I want to achieve, and I believe this is the only way for all sectors. I mean, when it comes to food, we need to consume better and lesser, fewer. So basically, this bioethic and this bio consumption as well of food, I believe this is our salvation. I mean, there is no other way. If you look at the global problem, it's huge.
COVID just exposed us. COVID just exposed us. We cannot continue consuming the same way. That's a fact.
No, we cannot think the same way. We cannot consume the same way. We cannot act the same way. And this change only pass by us. It has to go through us, not the government, not the private sector. First of all, us. I mean, each one of us. So I decided, it's been a year now, before the COVID anyway, for the situation I've been seeing here, experimenting, and there is a lot of suffering, So the only way I was seeing myself doing or creating an impact at the same time here and there is to do in this act of teaching or educating. I mean, with all due respect, I mean, I'm not believing myself or I not think that I'm more knowledgeable that most. Only I know my business. I know the conditions here. I know the reality, and that's the reality I want to bring there for them to understand how much disconnected we are. I mean, I was there 5 years ago. I was disconnected. And when I first came here, and I've seen what I've seen, I understood. Wow, Greg, the case that we studied, the 2 fixed Starbucks in MBA.
It's
bullshit.
imagine.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
Okay, I mean,
100% bullshit. Yes, 100%.
bullshit. Where
Yeah,
is this euro bonus to the farmers? There is none.
yeah,
So you start to understand that even you start to put in perspective your own study, your
yeah,
own school, your
yeah,
own life.
yeah,
And when you get there, you can't go back. You
yeah.
cannot say, look, I haven't seen that, I don't know that,
No, no,
I
no. You
didn't
cannot
realize
change
that.
it. The only thing you can do
You
is
can't change
adapt
it.
to it. Yes,
Exactly. So
yes,
now I embrace this new view
yeah,
and perspective that I have, and it's a long run. I mean, to be honest, it's more like a life project, I believe, because the company can die and that's fine. But my view and
no, man. It's
my eager to change the world at my scale is
absolutely,
full is big.
absolutely.
And that's why I'm very glad. And I told you, and I tell everyone that who listens to us today, what you do is great. I told you privately, and I tell you publicly, is great. We need to embrace the communism, the community, but not the community that exclude people, that include people.
Yeah,
I'm against community that basically are around one or two type
yeah,
of
yeah,
person,
yeah,
and we are 100.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
we need to bring us together, and we need to look at each other with a change. And this change can only come from here
Yeah,
inside. So
absolutely.
that's what I'm going to advocate for the next 20 years, if God helps me. And that's why I'm very glad to participate as well into your new adventure.
Yeah,
Because I
it's
believe
really
you need to bring
it
the
just came
word
to me
out
like
there.
this. It just came to me like this. I was sitting down at home and I'm like, am I really grounded? Like I cannot talk to anyone except on the phone and except on Zoom, right? And so I drew a list of people and I'm like, okay, these are the people I want to just see how they're doing. And then I started with Brandon Hoff,
Yeah,
a friend of
Brandon
mine
Hart.
who was in my class in the MBA, and we had a blast together. So during the year, like
Great guy.
I believe we were the closest friends back then, and I told him, listen, man, like this is just ridiculous. Let's talk, right? Let's just talk and see, film it. Let's say somebody wants to start a business, and we'll finish with that. Let's say somebody wants to
Oh,
start a business, or somebody wants to you know. I told you
yeah.
earlier is like either you're drunk or suicidal if you want to
Yeah,
do
that's
something.
true. I mean,
But
if you're not one of those, just just quit.
yeah,
No, I mean, um, what I could say is to make sure you're yeah, to make sure that you are sure.
yes,
uh, I mean this it has to be like a cause, like something you cannot stop till you get there. I mean, something that makes you get up every morning. That something that makes you happy as well. If
yeah,
because
yeah,
we know that to fix it's hard.
yeah,
It's very challenging. No one wants to see you succeeding. I mean, that's the truth.
yeah,
Yeah, I know now as an entrepreneur that all entrepreneurs that were saying that it's true. I mean,
yeah,
even
absolutely,
sometimes your
absolutely,
family, your own friends,
absolutely.
you always see some people saying, "No, this is too difficult. You're not gonna make it. Why are you doing this?" My
But
best
even
mate,
man,
uh,
even in
years
my
ago, used to
environment, like you went and did an MBA, you can land a job that is paid six figures, and then you decide to move to Bulgaria to join a small company, and then create your own company. Are you crazy? And I'm like, yes, because you see what I mean. So it's like,
yeah, of course, of course. The purpose is
yeah,
to live an happy life. So first, do something that makes you happy.
yeah,
That brings six figures or eight or three. At the end of the day, I swear you won't bother about it.
no, you won't.
You'll be happy. And
Yep,
anyway, if you're happy, you'll get better at what you're doing. So if
yep,
you get better at what you're doing, you'll get the six figures someday. I mean, if
absolutely.
it's your purpose, you'll get there as well. So and I can tell you how much this question is important to me because I've been thinking about for the last 6 months. What is my drive?
Yeah,
What makes me do this? Why I'm gonna do this? It's so hard sometimes,
absolutely.
and so I got my own answers. But I can just to give one advice, maybe the best for me is really to deep into you
Mm,
and understand why would you do that? Why and why do you want to do this?
mm.
And if you're happy with this, then go for it.
Yeah.
No one's gonna stop you. It's gonna make you better, nicer, more human,
I think,
more empathic.
I was speaking with a friend of mine the other day about this, and I was telling her, listen, people are just afraid of making steps back, right? And so this COVID thing has forced some people to sell their cars, have forced some people maybe to sell the house and go on rent because they lost their jobs and stuff like this. And they're just in a state of where they are afraid of going back a step. I say is like, you can make 10 steps forward, right? And then it's okay to go back 3 steps and make another 10 steps forward, right? So entrepreneurship is very much in the sense, something like that, is that you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, every day. Every day.
You have to accept that. You have to be comfortable with the fact that you're gonna be uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. And I can see you're good at it. I mean, I'm still working out this because, as you truly just said, it's exactly this perpetual state of mind and physical, because it's both. But again, I mean, I'm still finding out, discovering on the way a lot of stuff about myself, my resilience, my will, my purpose. And I believe an entrepreneur always, almost on daily basis, you always question yourself. About what you did, what you want to do, if you did right, if you can do better, how, with who, when. So what I find out, just to stop there maybe, because we have so many stuff to comment, but it's like you're on perpetual question.
Basically.
Yeah, somehow. It never leaves you. I mean, you go to sleep, it's there, you get up, it's there. And I believe once this goes off, it's like you reached your purpose.
Absolutely.
So while you have here, this is the motor, the machine that makes you makes you keep on.
100%.
And so to summarize, 2 things would be: make sure to know why you want to do this, and then make sure why you want to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what's happening with this phone. But anyway,
twice the why.
Absolutely. You have to have your purpose and you have to have your why. Otherwise,
and don't listen to anyone.
No, it's been a pleasure. I was happy to meet your family.
No, mine. Pleasure is mine. I mean, it's been so much time. Thanks for the invitation. Thanks for being yourself. Thanks for letting me being myself and sharing a bit of my life. I appreciate it very much.
Anytime.
But I believe we will see you again on TV maybe, or
hopefully. I don't know about that, man.
Right?
I don't know. No, for now, listen, if I can just make sure that, listen, when I started this podcast, I told some people that told me, why are you doing it? And I said, listen, my reward would be that somebody's gonna type you a message and say, hey, Greg, I saw your podcast with Tufik. Let's talk because I'm interested in that.
I'll leave you be and a lot. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot for everything.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope it brought you some value. If you would like to engage, please leave a comment in the comment section. You can also click the subscribe button and activate notification to receive the updates on this channel.